All right, it's 2 o'clock, so we're going to call the October 30th meeting of the Rules and Open Government Committee to order. Start with roll call, please.
Kamei? Here. Davis, absent. Jimenez?
Present.
Foley?
Here.
Chair Cohen?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start by reviewing the agenda for next Tuesday's November 5th meeting. The agenda is noticed to begin at 9:30 for closed session and 1:30 for regular session. And consent starts on page 5. Continues on pages 6, 7, and 8. And we have section 3.3, retirement plan annual investment fee report. Skipping ahead to section 7, we have the consolidated annual homelessness report. 8.1 is the intention to establish a pedestrian mall on Post Street, and 8.2 is our East Ridge Business Improvement District hearing. Actually, yes, hearing, that's right. Nothing in land use, so we will go to see public comment first.
There's no public comment?
All right, thank you. Back to the committee. Any
Move approval with the ad sheet.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded with the ad sheet. Let's vote. And that motion carries 4-0 with Davis absent. And now we don't have a meeting on the 12th because of Veterans Day, so we will move on to our consent calendar for today's meeting. There are 3 items on consent. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
All right, back to the committee.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Let's vote on the consent calendar. All right, that motion carries 4-0. Now we're on to our action items. First, we have item C1, our a memo for Innovative Project Pathway Program submitted by the mayor and council members Davis and Foley. I think, Lomeo, you are here to give an introduction, so we'll listen first.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Rules Committee. My name is Michael Lomeo, and I am Mayor Matt Mahan's Senior Land Use and Economic Development Policy Advisor. I am here today to present to you a memorandum signed by Mayor Mahan, Councilmembers Davis, and Councilmember Foley. We kindly request the Rules Committee's approval of this memorandum creating the Innovative Project Pathway Program. In summary, the memo creates a new lane for unique development projects that currently do not fit within the city's existing municipal code. The Pathway Program aims to allow for only the most impactful projects that require changes to general plan text, zoning code uses, or development standards. Projects moving forward through this process must meaningfully advance city goals such as climate resilience, housing production, job generation, or the city's fiscal health. What we are saying with this program is that if a developer has a good idea but doesn't see a path forward, at least not yet, they should submit their plans through this process, allow for staff to review it, and City Council to deem it worth staff's time. I will ask the administration to share more regarding this effort, but our office expects this pathway program to support PBCE's cost recovery model because developers would pay for staff analysis and review. Our vision for this program is to take a proactive approach to facilitating large investments into the city of San Jose and underscore our willingness to partner with the private sector to build a more vibrant future. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Let's just first turn to City Manager's office. We don't have a workload analysis, so you can just let us know.
Yes, and I was going to suggest I don't think this item actually needs a workload analysis. This is a thing that the department is already doing, and as Michael has indicated, there's not a budgetary impact because this will be generated by fees. So if the Rules Committee wishes to move this forward, they can do so.
So we you would not recommend to the several week delay to come back with an analysis?
No, it's something the department is working on. They have been working on this, adds a little bit more specificity around it, which is helpful, but this can move forward as is.
Okay. Let's see if we have any members of the public on this one.
Doug, please make your way to the podium. You will have 2 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name's Doug Block. I'm with the Silicon Valley MEPS, the MEPS. In this case, this is UA Local 393, Sheet Metal Workers Local 104, Sprinkler Fitters 483, and the IBEW Local 332. Collectively, we are the largest affiliates of the Building and Construction Trades Council, and we're very proud to represent highly skilled and trained workers who are building San Jose, housing, commercial, industrial projects. We partner with many developers here in Silicon Valley to build housing. We all know we need more housing, and the problem is, especially with interest rates and the high cost of materials, it's very difficult for housing projects to pencil out, and we have height limits here in San Jose. We've discussed this in the downtown high-rise ordinance, or that program. And so we're here today to speak in favor of this, moving to the full council. We think that San Jose needs the flexibility to consider non-traditional projects so that we can build more housing, we can make projects pencil out, we can put people from San Jose to work and give them pathways to the middle class through our apprenticeship program. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
All right, thank you for the public comment. All right, we're going to start with Councilmember Jimenez.
Yeah, thank you for the information. I'm going to be voting in favor of this. I'm supportive of it. I think it's a good thing that we're doing. And one question, though, that I have, my team and I were looking through the memo. We wanted to know if maybe Michael or someone from the city manager's office can interpret, or maybe even Councilmember Foley, who's up here, can interpret what streamlining means and what you all have in mind when you mention streamline. If there's just any general thoughts on that.
Would you like me to take that, Councilmember?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so right now, there are a number of projects that can submit an application for general plan text changes or zoning code uses. This really encourages only the largest projects to move forward this pathway. And so in this instance, it would be streamlining for those large projects as opposed to having multiple conversations with staff and with council offices. This really creates a dedicated policy lane for those most important projects. And I do see Chris Burton in the stands. I don't know if Chris wanted to add anything else.
Yeah, Chris, if you have any thoughts, just generally speaking, how you interpret streamline and what maybe internally what that looks like, the mechanics of that. And it's quite possible we haven't quite figured out exactly how we're going to do it, but curious if you can give us your thoughts.
We'll just go fast, right? Isn't that the... Sorry. Yes, Councilmember Chris Burton, Director of Planning, Building Code Enforcement. So I think to Michael's point, this is really about almost inviting those development projects into a process that ultimately already exists, right? We have the ability for private applicants to submit a general plan text amendment. It happens very rarely. In fact, we haven't done any in recent years. It's something that I think in the past we would have actively discouraged, but understanding the kind of unique nature of the development market, some of the opportunities that exist out there, and the ability to think quickly, allowing them to just come in and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do, and then us reacting to that puts us in a better position. I think the other example that we've seen in recent years, and sort of one that I think internally we point to quite often, was the whole co-living experience, where everybody talked about co-living as this great opportunity to deliver housing in downtown. And so we spent an extraordinary amount of staff time on our own dime, essentially, trying to figure out what all the policy implications were, how you would draft an ordinance to allow it. We changed the zoning code to do it, and we still have 0 projects that meet that definition. So rather than us trying to figure out how we get the market to move, this, I think, is designed more to allow the market to sort of push us in a direction, and we can respond to that. So I think that's the kind of sense of streamlining that I would put on it. It's not sort of so much to say there's a programmatic response where we're dedicating a certain amount of resources to deliver on just these projects.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Councilmember Foley.
Thank you for the question, and actually just to follow up, where we're criticized often from developers that the process just takes too long. And by the time they get their money and the approvals and their entitlements and ready to go, it's several years down the line, and the financing window may have left, or the opportunity to develop might have left. So this allows the developer to bring in a project that could be beneficial to the city and for us to make a quicker decision. It still comes to city council. We still have final approval on it. So we're not removing, or not recommending that we remove that layer, but it just speeds up the process, and hopefully we'll actually get some shovels in the ground. And with that, I will move the memo.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It looks like Councilmember Jimenez has her hand up again.
Yeah, just a question. I'm trying to remember, don't we already have like a preliminary review where folks can submit something and say, hey, what do you think? Would you support this? Would you not? I mean, is this uniquely different than that?
This is different from that, because this is, so we do, and we utilize it as best we can. I think it's an area we can tend to do better at times, but our goal is to always be open to development proposals. The response we often give is in the context of our existing conditions, right? So if somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to propose something that's completely antithetical to our general plan, our preliminary response is often, actually, don't bother submitting the, we can already tell you it's probably a no. Yeah. This is to say those things that would otherwise fall outside of that framework, tell us what it is. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out a pathway if it makes sense, right? And it may be that, we're looking at trade-offs, I think, as the memo outlines, like there's an opportunity here to look at sort of the greater good opportunities. Is it really advancing our goals in other ways, especially on the delivery of housing, but on some of these other pieces as well. It's a unique opportunity to put the city in a position where we're getting sort of multiple things that we want.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate my colleagues for bringing this forward. We're always thinking about creative ways to be more efficient in our planning process, get projects moving quicker. So anything we can do, and I'm like Councilmember Jimenez, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but if this is a path to get us there, I'm all for it. So we have a motion and a second. No other hands. Let's vote on this. And this motion is to move it to council directly without coming back to Rules Committee, so we'll do that. Thank you. And now we're up to item C2. This is a request for a Parks Maintenance and Capital Funding Study Session, a memo submitted by Councilmember Ortiz, so I'll just let him kick that off with a little summary of what he's asking for.
Well, thank you, Rules Committee. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee members. As mentioned in the previous meeting, it's my hope to bring a conversation to the City Council to talk about our large backlog and capital improvements in our parks, as well as the maintenance process within the city. I've been able to identify that, throughout the city of San Jose, some of our parks aren't as maintained as others, and I'm hoping to have a spirited conversation about what the practices, policies, and procedures that exist within the Parks Department that could be leading to this, as well as if there's any areas for improvement within our approach. And also included in this conversation is conversations around a potential parks bond that hopefully we could look into as the years come.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have any members of the public?
There's no public comment.
All right, I see there's a workload analysis already submitted on this item, so looks like it's greenlit. I don't see any hands. Is there a motion or any request to speak?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No hands, so let's move to a vote. And that motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Councilmember, for bringing this forward. And we'll schedule that study session for, I guess, sometime in the spring. And that brings us to item 3. This is a memo to request an excused absence. Let's start with public comment on this.
There is no public comment.
All right, back to committee. Any comment or motion? Do we have any motion? All right, hearing no motion, we will move on with our agenda to item D, open forum. Do we have any members of the public for open forum today?
No public comment.
Okay, well then we are adjourned at 2:15 p.m. Thank you so much.